If you're familiar with the concept of soft power, it's basically the ability to influence others with appeal and attraction, and is generally used as a political tactic. This is one of the ways America has managed to keep a stranglehold as a superpower, considering the appeal of Hollywood and American culture. However, China certainly does not hold as much soft power. Perhaps these memes are a gentle way for people to be eased into the idea of accepting Chinese culture. Then again, they might also have the opposite effect. Essentially, the existence of super idol memes proves several things. That catchy songs will always do well in meme culture, that modern memes retain the ability to last for a long time, and thanks to all of this there is far more attention on China now than there ever used to be. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know in the comments below.
I remember!
Hidden wave. You think I'd let you use your abilities to be able to kill me easier? No. You came here for a real challenge, and this is what you're getting. You clearly know what you're doing. Just know that all your efforts are useless, because nothing can stop you.
In 1648, the water board of Boven needs to repair these embankments to make sure that this bit of the Netherlands didn't flood. For that, they needed money, so they sold a bearer bond. Whoever owned that bond would get a little bit of money back from them every year. But unlike modern bonds, they didn't set a time limit on that. Perpetual debt can be a thing in finance, it's kind of like selling stock in a company, but normally perpetual just means until the company fails. But this company didn't fail. 3.5 centuries later, that original bond ended up...
Take exit 47.
Here, at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, USA. And it's still paying interest.
Perpetual bonds date back to the Middle Ages. All bonds were perpetual bonds, and the fact that bonds actually mature and pay back their principal is a financial innovation. The floodplains of rivers, they don't coincide with state boundaries or city boundaries, so they had separate governments that would oversee the levies. These organizations would have the power of taxation, because everybody who was protected by a levy would pay taxes to pay for their upkeep, and they would never go to war. So the combination of being able to tax people and not going to war, which usually bankrupts governments, makes that these bonds are still paying interest to today. Tax collections fell short of the budget they needed, so they issued this bond. The water board, which dates back to I think 1328, has been merged in larger and larger organizations. They have recombined these water boards, and now it's called Stichtse Rijnlanden, which pays the interest on the bond. These annotations here are the annual interest payments that have been taking place since 1648. As you go to the other side, you see that the whole other side is also full with little markings, which are the interest payments that have taken back over the years. At some point the bond was full, there was no more space, and they issued this piece of paper here, which is a continued marking of the interest payments. When Yale bought the bond in 2003 and we collected our interest payment, you see that the last interest payment had been taken place in 1976. So there was 27 years of back interest that was due. We left the bond here for 12 years, and then in 2015 we collected 2004, 05, 06 all the way down to 2015. There's actually a picture somewhere of me in Holland where I hold the bond in one hand and get interest payments for Yale with my other hand as the bearer of the bond. It's a little disappointing. The bond initially
Noma. It's a place people recognize for being named the best restaurant in the world 4 times.
The original Noma opened in Copenhagen 15 years ago, surprising guests with its inventive offerings, like dishes disguised as herb pots and careful displays of roasted bone marrow with edible flowers. Chef René Redzepi built